All right. Thanks very much for joining me today, Nick. Lovely to have you on Partnership
No, thank
Genius.
you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. By way of a bit of an introduction, so Nick is the Global Alliances Manager at Contentsquare. We've obviously done a lovely integration recently between Tyviso and Contentsquare, and I guess a lot of this chat will be highlighting the value that it gives e-commerce brands, clarity in how they do their partnerships and how they impact customer journeys, etc. I guess maybe a nice little place to start would be Nick. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, brilliant. Thank you for that kind introduction there, Adrian. So, as you mentioned, I'm the Global Alliances Manager at Content Square. So I look after all our technology or ISV partnerships. So that is all other technology companies that we integrate with, go to market with, jointly market with, and of course, one of those is Tyviso. And as you said, we launched our integration about 3 or 4 months ago, following sort of joint customer demand. So we're in an exciting place to watch this partnership grow from strength to strength.
Amazing. For those who don't know Content Square, can you expand a bit more on the business and what you guys exactly do?
Yeah, sure. So let me give you the sort of 30-second elevator pitch for Content Square. So we are a digital experience analytics platform, and what that means is we help businesses understand how, why, and what users are doing on their website and their mobile apps. So we deliver rich insights into user behavior, intent, emotion through data visualization and AI capabilities. And really, this is to allow our customers to optimize conversions, revenue, customer satisfaction by identifying those friction points on their website and improving their digital journeys. So think of it like essentially understanding digital body language and digital behavior. And the way we do that is because we're capturing every hover, every scroll, every click on a non-clickable element on your website. Straight out of the box in our platform.
Interesting. You've definitely gone through that one a couple of times before. So thanks for the introduction there.
A well rehearsed bit of pitch.
I was going to say it's definitely the one at the pub, like, oh yeah, everyone, right, take your turns. Here we go. For those who don't live and breathe analytics, how would you describe Content Square's role in helping e-commerce leaders understand their customers?
So, as I mentioned, Content Square is really about helping any of our customers understand how, why, and what users or their customers are doing on their website. So, as I said, think about Content Square being like a interpreter for digital body language, almost like an X-ray machine, if you like, for a website. As I say, not just showing what customers do, i.e., they left the checkout, but giving context and reason, applying a contextual layer of data over traditional web analytics. So they rage clicked, or they got frustrated by a form, or they missed a key piece of information. And this really allows you to quantify the customer emotion, the effort through metrics like frustration or hesitation or attention span, sorry, to really pinpoint where your digital experience is potentially falling down, or of course where it's been, extremely successful as well. And so we transform billions of digital behaviors, as I say, clicks, scrolls, hovers, clicks on non-clickable elements, into visual and actionable recommendations that anyone, not just data scientists or technical users, but the business user as well, can understand and use to drive increased conversions and therefore revenue.
Interesting. Thank you for that. Why did you feel that? Obviously, you work with lots of different types of technology partners, right? What did you feel about Tevisa that was a natural fit for integration in the Content Square ecosystem?
So, Content Square, as I mentioned, is very, very good at understanding the why behind customer behavior, but that is what Content Square does. We are a huge behavioral data insight tool, but what Content Square doesn't do is action any of that data. Where Tyviso comes in is that it's a very powerful tool for testing and influencing the behavior using science-led rewards. So this integration really allows Content Square to explore the behavioral impact of a Tyviso campaign. So we measure the impact of the activation essentially that Tyviso is running in our granular detail. So we need activations like Tyviso and a vast range of our other technology partners in order to essentially have data and insights on the website to be able to measure. Tyviso's use of A/B testing combined with behavioral psychology around rewards-based behavior aligns perfectly with our mission to drive data-led continuous optimization for better customer experiences.
Sounds like a dream combo. Radio. Historically, linking partnerships performance meant a lot of manual tagging and kerfuffle and kind of endless spreadsheets as well. From your perspective, how does this integration cut through that previous noise?
So because Content Square doesn't require any manual tagging, it is straight out the box. We're capturing every hover, every scroll, every click with a single line of JavaScript. We're really providing a single unified view as to how Tyviso's reward that's being offered, we're able to measure that reward or the impact of that reward directly in the Content Square platform, as you say, without any manual tagging, without spreadsheets, without the need for manual data reconciliation, if you like. So this integration really allows us to analyze in the same rigor that any other on-site change would be able to.
It's kind of like the ultimate plug and play, I guess, to a degree, like turn it on,
Absolutely.
set it, leave it. What does a frictionless setup look like for a brand already using Content Square? Is it really kind of as simple as a switch on that we say?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you hit the nail on the head before by saying it's a plug and play. You know, this is very much an out of the box integration that's available in the Content Square console. It is as simple as flicking one switch, and it allows Content Square to measure with the metrics that we collect against Tyviso's range of gift with purchase or gift after purchase reward-based insights.
We've kind of talked about real-time clarity, but what does that actually mean for an e-commerce director who's making day-to-day decisions?
For me, I think that means having immediate behavioral feedback. So, what in real time, what are my users doing on my website is how I feel that that e-commerce director would be thinking. And so it allows them to spot potentially unintended side effects of a certain reward or gift-based insight. Are there new friction points or confusion being generated by that, or is it driving a huge uplift? And it really allows opinion to be sort of left by the wayside in a positive way, and for insights and optimization to be truly data led.
Interesting. What's been the early reaction from brands who have, through both of us already tested this? Is there any particular results that, surprised you guys in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've jointly been able to prove out the incremental value of our partnership here. And that's beyond simple redemption or click-through rates. I think one thing that we saw, and I think we were sort of discussing this fairly recently, is noticing that higher overall engagement and lower frustration across the site. So tying Tyviso's, gift with purchase or gift after purchase to actually higher engagement across other parts of the site as well, not just in the checkout. So what we're able to sort of couple it with the sort of comprehensive data and metrics that we pull through the Content Square platform for our end customers.
Yeah, I think one insight that really surprised me from a recent campaign is we obviously had a look at a lot of the heat maps afterwards, and one thing we noticed actually is that our gift with purchase solution was actually reducing the number of people entering discount codes, which was quite interesting because we saw an increase in AOV, and part of that was related to actually, I actually don't need a discount code. I'm getting values from something else. That was quite an interesting insight that we saw in one of the campaigns.
Well, and this is absolutely it. You wouldn't have this insight without a tool like Content Square working in partnership and integrated into something like Tyviso. And as I say, this takes guessing or removes the sort of almost the risk of sort of that highest paid person in the room opinion, and becomes clear data led insights.
One of the challenges in partnership marketing is proving that impact to leadership, like you just said. How does having Tvisa directly coming into Content Square change those boardroom conversations?
So I think it's like what we just touched on there, Adrian. It moves the conversation away from qualitative statements, such as "I think this campaign is running better," using anecdotal evidence to really quantified, clear data-led metrics, such as a 15% drop in conversion because this didn't have gift with purchase compared to a 7% rise in customers not using, a 7% rise in average order value because customers weren't using discount codes, for example. That really allows businesses to make clear decisions from data and not just, as I say, anecdotal evidence. So
No, it's about tangibility, right? I think Certainly, I see a lot of people make assumptions about something which they think is personally true or untrue rather than it's quantifiable, right? I guess the key thing here is that you're kind of giving that, making sure we're not marking our own homework, right? It's like, here's the empirical proof of what we believe is to be the correct thing rather than the opinion based, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From our side, is that independent third party, Content Square, acting as the the data insight tool, the big behavioral data lake, showing the power of Tyviso or transparently any of our other technology partners, the impact of the activation that they're running. And I think Tyviso are able to benchmark themselves against core customer experience metrics that are captured in the Content Square platform, such as conversion or our exposure rate or attractiveness rate to content. Again, not just moving away from those previous qualitative statements that we mentioned before.
How does Content Square ensure that this isn't just more data, but trusted, actionable insight that brands can, confidently base these decisions on?
That's the great question. So Content Square firstly structures the raw Tyviso data, but we're overlaying that with our unique behavioral metrics. So we're turning the simple A/B test or into rich contextualized insight. And the way we do that is providing it through visualizations like heat maps and journey analysis within the platform to immediately show where and how Tyviso has impacted the user journey flow from landing on the page all the way to conversion. So making that why question or that why reason as to why the user did or didn't convert clear. We then overlay that further with the ability to validate those results through session replays. So if you like, we sort of flip it on its head, where previously using digital experience analytics platforms, you would firstly watch vast amounts of session replays and then scale that down. We let you drive the hypothesis first and then confirm that hypothesis with a session replay to give both the qualitative and quantitative data that teams need to trust in order to move forward with their data driven decisions.
Interesting. On our side, I guess to be fair, the whole of e-commerce, we've seen lots of brands over relying on discounting as a method for growth. How do you see this integration helping e-commerce teams beyond blanket discounts into being more scientific, more like science-led rewards?
So I think this allows brands to identify where perhaps they were over relying on discounting, because this really allows brands to measure the true customer experience value of non-discount rewards. You begin to separate, I suppose, almost like the psychological impact of where a gift with purchase or gift to purchase is offered, um, and distinguish and segment those customers or those users who are doing or taking up the offer of gift with purchase or gift after purchase, who also apply a discount code, against those who don't. And the two other segments, those who apply the discount code but don't take up. So it really gives you the full matrix of being able to understand which customers act in a certain way, and of course overlaying that with, as I say, Content Square's behavioral metrics, potentially looking at pulling in, segmentation data from some of your other sources, whether that be like your CDP or your CRM. You really start to build your view of your one customer, if you like.
Interesting. How, from your opinion as maybe the person that's external to us, how do you see the future brand partnerships evolving when they're measured in such a kind of the same rigor as general paid media?
So I think those sorts of partnerships will evolve into a measurable strategic revenue driver, and that's because they are high value customer acquisition. So this rigor shifts from quantity to quality. So you're it's almost like the quality of customer, if you like, the brand partnerships that will drive the highest average order value and the highest customer lifetime value. That's sort of where I see the future of that evolution.
So yeah, it's kind of not a one-off campaign, more of like a constant, how do we do better and better and better, right?
Absolutely.
Finally, Nick, if you had one message for, I'm sure you speak to dozens and dozens of e-com leaders, and some of them might be listening to this. If you had one message for them, why should they take this integration seriously, and in particular, why now?
That's a great question, Adrian. So, for me, if you're running blind on your website and you don't have a clear view of the customer journey and how your customers flow through your conversion channel, then you're leaving unproven revenue on the table. In particular, if you can't measure the power of your brand partnerships in the same way that perhaps you measure your paid media or other CX initiatives. So in today's economy, every customer interaction that you have must be intentional, and this integration between Tyviso and Contentsquare gives you the data-driven confidence to really grow your brand loyalty and your revenue through high impact and in particular non-discount rewards, as we've touched on throughout this.
Amazing. A useful tip to end the year with.